Hi guys, so today we're going to be looking at my top 10 B movies. So without further ado, let's have a look. Number 10, Revenge of the Ninja. Revenge of the Ninja is a 1983 martial arts thriller directed by Sam Furstenberg and written by James Silk, starring Sho Kozagi, Keith Vitali, Virgil Fry and Kane Kozagi. When a band of ninja assassins slaughters the family of Cho Hosaki, he flees to America in the hope of building a new life. A formal ninja himself, Hosaki tries to escape his deadly past, but soon discovers he has become the pawn of a ruthless drug trafficker. An American ninja intent on killing anyone who crosses his path, including Hosaki. This film is full of bad acting and cheesy lines, but man, the fighting scenes are great, and when I was a kid watching this for the first time, I instantly become intrigued by the ninja. Number 9. Enter the Ninja. Enter the Ninja is a 1981 martial arts film directed by Menahem Golan and written by Dick Desmond, starring Franco Nero, Susan George, Sho Kozagi and Christopher George. When Cole visits his friend Frank in the Philippines, he learns that Frank is being harassed by a wealthy businessman, Charles Venerius, who wants his land for the oil beneath it. During these attacks, Frank quickly realises his old war buddy is now a trained ninja assassin, who plans to defend him and his wife, but when Venerius learns of Cole's presence, he decides to hire his own ninja. So again, this film is very cheesy, with really bad dubbing, and at times it's quite funny. However, it's a ninja film, and as a kid I was in awe of it. This film not only started Sho Kozagi's film career, but it also started a trilogy of films, with Revenge of the Ninja being the second film in that trilogy. Number 8, Evolver. Evolver is a 1995 direct-to-video horror science fiction film, directed and written by Mark Rosman, starring John Delancey, Ethan Embry, Cassidy Ray, Cindy Pickett and William H. Macy as the voice of the Evolver. Meet Evolver, the ultimate toy for the cyberpunk generation. A virtual reality game brought to fierce, three-dimensional life. With each battle, Evolver lives up to his name. He becomes faster, smarter and deadlier. Meet Kyle Baxter, the teenage video game whiz who wins the first Evolver robot. Suddenly, accidents, some of them fatal, begin to happen. With help from Jamie, a rival game player, Kyle digs up a terrifying missing link. Evo was created from a scrapped US Defense Robotics Department, designed to infiltrate enemy encampments. He has the capacity to adapt to any situation. He's programmed to leave no survivors, and he's playing for keeps. Now, I remember watching this as a teenager at my mate's. His dad always rented VHS from a local video van every Friday night. This was an interesting story and was unique until Small Soldiers copied it. And they copied that about 3 years later. Plus, when you see John Delancey, Q himself basically, in a film, you watch it, don't you? Number 7. Saturn 3. Saturn 3 is a 1980 sci-fi horror directed by Stanley Donen and starring Kirk Douglas, Farrah Fawcett and Harvey Keitel. On a Saturn space station, Adam and Alex are two scientists seeking new forms of food for the impoverished planet Earth. Their idyllic life is interrupted by the arrival of Captain James, a psychopathic maniac from Earth, who brings with him a helper in the form of a murderous robot who gradually develops a mind of his own. Number 6. Enemy Mine. Enemy Mine is a 1985 science fiction action drama directed by Wolfgang Peterson and written by Edward Kamara, based on Barry B. Longyear's novella of the same name, starring Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. Two warriors hell-bent on killing each other in a futuristic war between Earth and Dracon soon have to learn to work together when they both crash land on a desolate planet. In order to survive, they must put aside their differences. Now, this film is a fascinating story that primarily involves just two actors. For such a low budget, they managed to do miracles, and I think that's what makes this film so good. Unlike these modern 200 million CGI messes, this film had to really rely on good storytelling. And it shows. Although originally a flop at the box office, it later gained a cult classic following. Number 5. Surviving the Game. Surviving the Game is a 1994 action-adventure film directed by Ernest R. Dickerson. The story is loosely based on the 1924 short story The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell and rewritten by Eric Byrne. Starring Ice-T, Rutger Hauer, Charles S. Dutton, Gary Busey, John C. McGinley, William McNamara and F. Murray Abraham. Ice-T is Mason, a homeless man recruited by a band of wealthy hunters to lead an expedition into the Pacific Northwest. But on the first day of the hunt, he discovers a lethal surprise. He's the prey. As the game begins, the hunters learn a deadly lesson. Never underestimate a man who's got nothing to lose. Now, I remember this film coming out, and it wasn't long after Hard Target, if I remember right, and I couldn't help notice the similarities. However, I felt this film was actually better. What did surprise me was that this film was basically bombed and was classed as a failure, even though it had a great cast. My advice though, give it a chance. It's pretty good, and you'll notice a few well-known actors who were first started out in this film. Number 4, Krull. Krull is a 1983 science fantasy swashbuckler, directed by Peter Yates and written by Stanford Sherman, starring Ken Marshall, Lysette Anthony, Freddie Jones, Robbie Coltrane, Liam Neeson and many, many more. When the planet of Krull is besieged by the evil beast and his marauding army takes Princess Lisa hostage, Prince Colwyn and a band of heroes set off on a quest to save the princess and drive away the evil beast. Now, this was the UK's answer to Star Wars, with a majority UK cast. Lots of actors just cutting their teeth, like Colwyn actor Ken Marshall, who played Ennington in DS9. But then there's actors that have been round the block, like Cyclops actor Bernard Bresslaw, best known for the Carry On films. Although this film was classed as a financial bomb, it did have some interesting concepts though. It was dark and wasn't afraid to kill people in a graphic way, which was refreshing for a sci-fi movie, or sci-fi fantasy as this is classed. However, recently, Jar Jar Abrams has been asked to reboot the franchise. I think he should do one personally. Number 3, Battle Beyond the Stars. Battle Beyond the Stars is a 1980s space opera, produced by Roger Conman, directed by Jimmy T. Murakami, starring Richard Thomas, Robert Vaughn, George Peppard, John Saxon, Sybil Danning and Darlene Flugel. When the evil Sador and his ultimate weapon look to invade the peaceful planet of Akira, Shad knows he has to look for an unlikely band of warriors to help him defeat Sador before it's too late. Did you know that this film was intended as a futuristic Magnificent Seven, or a Western version of Seven Samurai, and that the special effects were designed by James Cameron? Because I never knew that. And then there's the ship that looks like a woman's bust. Always a favourite when it comes to ship designs. Although this film was a moderate success, this film was never released in the UK on Blu-ray. That kind of annoys me because I do want it on Blu-ray. Number 2, Iron Eagle. Iron Eagle is a 1986 action film directed by Sidney J. Furie, who co-wrote the screenplay with Kevin Allen Elders, starring Jason Gedrick and Louis Gossett Jr. Air Force pilot Colonel Ted Masters is shot down over a hostile country and taken prisoner. The US government are unable to secure his release. With time quickly running out, Master's teenage son Doug, who is a pilot in his own right, enlists the help of a hard-as-nails reserve officer, and together they devise a plan to go in and get Doug's father. Now, I remember watching this as a kid. I distinctly remember watching this followed by Rambo 2. Both were rentals from the local video shop. As cheesy as this film is, I still get a warm feeling every time I watch it. Now, this film received negative review as it was constantly compared to Top Gun, which was released the same year. However, this film had a budget of 10 million and made 24 million at the box office. This later led to 3 more sequels, so I'd say it did okay. Number 1, Roadhouse. Roadhouse is a 1989 action film directed by Rowdy Herrington and written by David Lee Henry and Hilary Henkin, starring Patrick Swayze, Sam Elliott, Kelly Lynch and Ben Gazzara. Dalton Swayze is a legendary bouncer who comes to Jasper, Missouri to restore order at the out-of-control Double Deuce Bar. But as he starts taking out the trash, he upsets their employer, Brad Wesley. Wesley controls the town by extorting money out of all the local businesses in his legal racketeering ring, and so sees Dalton as a threat to that. Dalton, now being seen as the new sheriff in town, knows he must face the crime boss in a battle to the finish. This film had a budget of 15 million and made 61.6 million at the box office, and even spurred a sequel that was released in 2006. Now, I love watching this film even today. Yeah, it's cheesy violence, but I love it. It does what it needs to, and I would argue has a better storyline than some of the shit we get today. This film also showed a different side to Patrick Swayze's acting. Now, he wasn't just seen as a chick flick guy, which, if I'm honest, opened him up to a new audience. Well, this is my top 10 B movies, guys, so why not let me know your top 10 in the comments below. And until next time, take care, stay safe. Nerdy Geezer out.